Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to the Duron Morning Show. Today is Monday. That's March. Oh God, I almost said. Let's start that over. Today is Monday, March 8th, 2021. And it's about to be a beautiful Monday. It was a long weekend for me, as you guys know. Like if you've been here before, if you haven't, this will be your first time hearing it. I normally work on my house, renovating it over the weekends, and it was a lot this weekend. So if you guys were listening live, that's why the show started a little bit late. It was so, my body just hurts, and it was so hard for me to get out the bed. But as I've been telling you guys, I'm going to do my best to always stay consistent. And even if it's late, even if it's shorter, whatever, I'm going to do the show. So let's just dive right into today's show. This is episode 39, and that is amazing to hear me say, because obviously I thought that I would get this far, but to have actually done it is amazing. Tomorrow will be episode 40. I've done up to this point, it's 39. That means I've done 39 of these, and I don't take that for granted. I also. And I don't want to downplay what I do, but I also don't take the show too seriously, because I know how blessed and how, that's just all it is. How blessed I am to even be able to do this. I don't have to wake up and be like, Dad, what am I going to eat today? Where am I going to live? Those are real issues. I don't wake up and, I don't really concern myself with, oh my gosh, I'm starting the show so late. Oh, I'm a terrible person, or I don't do that, because this is a blessing in itself to just be able to do this. 39 of these. I do this Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 8:30, and there hasn't been anything that's made me stop. I haven't done 2 episodes, and it was because of one, the inauguration, and another one was because of President's Day. The inauguration, I didn't want to give false information, or I don't know too much about politics, so I just let it go. I could have done the episode, but I just want to let it go. I wanted to sleep in. Everyone enjoyed the historical moment, the transition of power. And then the holiday, it's what it was. If y'all get a holiday, I get a holiday. So for the last, if you guys want to call it, what would it be, 6 weeks? For the last 6 weeks, I've only missed 2 days in doing this, not including the weekends. That's amazing. So I'm really happy to just share my thoughts and share everything with you guys. And I didn't even know I was going to choose this episode to reflect and give you guys that background, but I'm glad I did. So to dive right into today's episode, I didn't really have anything planned. Like I said, I spent most of the weekend working on my house. I won't lie to you, a lot of these episodes coming up for the next 2 weeks-ish won't be the most planned out, because I'm trying to dedicate most of my time to just completing my house. And that's just the truth. That I just wanted to be upfront with you guys. So, because of that, I just wanted to recap all the headlines or everything that I saw from this weekend, and just see what conversation could be brought out of that. So, as tradition says, let's drink the lucky water, and let's get right to it. So, like I put in the description, I wanted to recap the NBA All-Star Weekend a little bit, and all the stuff surrounding NBA All-Star Weekend. So for those of you that aren't familiar, I'll start from the beginning. The NBA is obviously the National Basketball Association, with LeBron and Steph Curry and all that. I expect you to know that. But if you don't know, they have an All-Star Weekend every single year. This year it's a little bit different because of COVID, but normally what they do is on Friday they have celebrity games and skills challenges from the rookies and the sophomores in the league. The first year, second year players, they have them do some skills challenges, and they'll do a lot of things like that, right? Well, this year it's COVID, so they can't do as many things they wanted to do, so they need to do them all on one day. So I don't believe there was anything on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And then let me back up a little bit more. So Yeah, let me back up so that we can talk about everything. So they normally do the skills and challenges and stuff like that, and then on Saturday and Sunday they do a 3-point contest and a slam dunk contest. Now the slam dunk contest is like probably the most watched thing over the entire weekend. And then on Sunday they do an East versus West All-Star game. Now over the last couple of years they've done it a little differently. Whoever the top two most voted all-stars, they become captains. So this year it was LeBron James and Kevin Durant. And from there, it's like they play a pickup game. The two captains go and choose and pick whatever players they want. Kind of like if you guys were on the playground, you said, I want this guy. They just go back and forth. Excuse me. So that's how that goes. Now, the most important thing to know about this weekend is that it was in Atlanta, Georgia. Once again, for those of you that don't know, Atlanta, Georgia is a hub right now for fashion, for music, for everything. It's literally, over the next 5 to 10 years, maybe less than that, it's going to become the new California. California has a lot of laws and a lot of things, or not California as a state, but the new Los Angeles. Because Los Angeles is doing a lot right now. Like, for example, Joe Rogan moved out of Los Angeles. Elon Musk moved out of Los Angeles. Kanye West moved out of Los Angeles. I think Drake moved out of Los Angeles now that his home in Canada is done. Los Angeles is doing a lot. So Georgia has been like a hub recently. If you think of whoever your favorite rapper might be, or who's the best right now, they're probably from Atlanta. Young Thug is from Atlanta. Little Baby's from Atlanta. Gunna is from Atlanta. The Migos are from Atlanta. I think I'll misspeak if I say Mulatto's from Atlanta. I don't know about that. But a lot of famous people are from Atlanta right now. So Atlanta's the place to be. So bringing NBA All-Star Weekend brings celebrities. Bringing celebrities obviously brings a lot of people that want to be a part of that community, or just be surrounded by them. So people from all over the United States have picked up and hauled their stuff and went to Atlanta. Some people did, some people drove, some people flew, and there was this one headline I saw over the weekend, and then maybe others saw it too, and they know where I'm going with this. There was a woman who set up a GoFundMe because she said she bought a one-way ticket to Atlanta because she thought that her unemployment benefits would kick in and they would give her some back pay. So she used the money she did have to get to Atlanta. Now she said the unemployment office baited her, and now she can't get back, and she needs help with the GoFundMe because she can't survive and she can't live and all these other things. Ma'am, you went to NBA All-Star Weekend unemployed with very little money, and you were just praying that, like, you just knew in your head the unemployment office was going to pay you back pay and everything was going to be set. You was going to be good. You got to get your priorities straight, and nobody better donate to that GoFundMe because she'll figure it out. We're humans. We're resilient. She'll figure it out. Maybe she's got to live in Atlanta now. She'll figure it out. She don't got nothing to go, like, maybe family and stuff. She's not going to miss work on Monday. She didn't miss work today. She don't got no job. So I thought that was not awesome to talk about, but I thought that was interesting to talk about. Like, people are really, I don't want to say uprooting, but just doing whatever it takes they were doing whatever it took to get to Atlanta just to be surrounded by celebrities, or get to the famous strip clubs, go to Magic City or something. Like, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that deep. But hey, that's just me. So, a recap of the actual NBA All-Star Weekend. I personally don't know about so let me see what I do know about. Let's talk about that. So I know Bleacher Report. I don't know if that's what I was going to say. I don't know if it was separate from the NBA or if they got their blessing or whatever. But Bleacher Report, who is like a sports company, they talk about all types of sports. It's irrelevant who they are. It's what they did. So Bleacher Report, they had a celebrity somewhat like all-star game, but it was different. It was like a 2v2 tournament. So it was Quavo and Two Chains versus, no, or was it Jack? I believe it was Quavo and Jack Harlow versus Two Chains and Lil Baby. And the memes for Lil Baby were going ham because Lil Baby, you could tell he don't play basketball. And he said, and they asked him afterwards, like, what happened? He said, I've been put that basketball down to go see what the field like. And everyone was speculating if he meant football. I think he meant the streets. I think he meant I put that basketball down to go see what the streets was like, the field. It was amazing to me that they, like, everyone was quoting that, like, actual, like, I think ESPN, Bleacher Report, like, people were quoting that, and I was like, you guys don't even know what he's talking about. So that was on Friday, but I don't know, you can't quote me, I don't know if that was a part of the NBA, like, if they had their blessing, or Bleacher Report just did that, because, like I said, everyone knows there's a lot of money surrounded by All-Star Weekend, so they might have just did that, like, hey, if we do this, it'll be a good look. So that happened. And Quavo, in a game to 21, Quavo got 17 points, 14 rebounds, and there was another stat that they got, like 4 or something. But the game was only to 21. How you get a double-double? He got 17 points and 14 rebounds. And he swatted one of the Lil Baby shots. It might have been 4 blocks was the stat, or 4 assists or something. It had to be 4 assists if there was 4 other points scored, maybe. I don't know. But that was Friday, and then, or no, excuse me, that was actually Saturday. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was Saturday. Like I said, this was a weird weekend for them to do it because of COVID. So I'm so used to how everything else goes. But regardless, that was Saturday, and then Sunday, which was yesterday for me anyway. They kind of stockpiled all of what they do over the weekend. They stockpiled and put it all in one day. So they didn't have like an all-star game opposed to the one that would happen on Saturday. But they did the skills challenge, and I believe Domantas Sabonis won that. He beat Nikola Vucevic. And then they had the three-point contest, and it was actually really surprising. I wasn't going to watch it because I heard like Steph was in it. I know Steph's going to win, but it was actually really surprising. Steph did end up winning, Steph Curry, but Mike Conley, who's an OG, for those of you that don't know, he used to play back when the Grizzlies with Zach Randolph and OJ Mayo and Rudy Gay. It's when like it was like the hard knock Grizzlies, Tony Allen, but Mike Conley actually, like, he was about to win. He got 27, and Steph Curry was clutch, and he got 28. The last shot was the shot that won him the whole thing. So that was really cool. And then it went right from the All-Star, the three-point contest, it went straight into the All-Star game, which that has never happened. This is like a first. So it went straight into the All-Star game, and Team LeBron was stacked. There was LeBron James, Giannis, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard. Like Nikola Jokic, I'm missing Rudy Gobert. I know they had Jaylen Brown, and then Team Durant. Their captain himself, Durant was out. They said COVID tracing and all that stuff, so he was out. There was a lot of people out. Devin Booker, like people were arguing about Devin Booker not being selected or whatever, and then he ended up being out. Team LeBron had Chris Paul, which is Devin Booker's teammate. So there was a lot going on. But like I said, I don't ever normally watch the whole game because normally last year was actually really good and this year was actually really good. It's weird for me with no fans. I react off that. Like if Steph Curry hits a long shot or if LeBron hits a dunk, I love hearing the fans scream and react. Now it's just the announcers in an empty gym. It's really weird, but Steph Curry and put on a show. Giannis ended up winning the All-Star MVP because he had 16 for 16 shots and he hit 3 threes. I remember watching one of his threes. It was like the last 3 he made. Because he was 15 for 15 and he shot a 3. I was like, no, why would he do that? Now he's going to be 15 for 16. It actually went in. It went off the glass, and that was just an awesome moment. So the NBA All-Star Weekend was pretty cool. I thought Steph Curry was going to win the three-point contest and the MVP because Steph was going off. Steph was hitting half-court shots. If you didn't watch the game, go look up the highlights of Steph Curry. Steph was going off that game. I thought that he was going to win MVP, but if Giannis was 100% from the field, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't really beat that. But overall, like fun or entertainment, it was Steph Curry. It was Steph by far that put on the best show. So to transition from the All-Star weekend, we also got some big news like that we talked about on Thursday and Friday that we kind of knew was going to pass. The stimulus passed. So let me try to actually, now this I will look up, and I want to, beside, everyone knows that there's going to be $1,400 stimulus checks, but there's most likely going to be a lot more than that. So let me actually read what's going on. So they said, now, for those of you that don't know, each morning I read this newspaper or this newsletter called Morning Brew. And if you don't already, I think I've said this a couple times, if you don't already, you should be reading it yourself. So they went over the bill this morning. So it says President Biden, they passed the bill's $1.9 trillion. So what's inside the bill? There's going to be $1,400 stimulus checks for individuals earning up to $75,000 and couples making up to $150,000. So wait, did they change it? Because before, it says, I'm just going to read the whole thing because there was a whole different bill and they had to change things because before it was going to be $80,000 and all that. So let me read this. I'm just going to read the article for what it says. For the second straight March, the Senate passed an enormous bill aimed at providing relief to Americans suffering financially from the coronavirus pandemic. This one, introduced by President Biden before he took office, amounts to $1.9 trillion. This bill wasn't quite the bipartisan effort Biden had originally hoped for. It squeaked through the Senate with a 50-49 vote, with every Democrat voting in favor and every Republican giving it thumbs down. Quick note on process. The House originally passed the stimulus bill, then the Senate tweaked it and passed its own version this weekend. Now the House will vote on the Senate version likely tomorrow before it heads to Biden's desk for his signature. What's inside the bill? A $1,400 stimulus checks for individuals earning up to $75,000 and couples making up to $150,000 qualify for the entire amount. It phases out at $80K for individuals and $160K for couples. More unemployment benefits. The government is tacking on $300 a week to existing benefits through early September. Child tax credit. The bill expands the child tax credit from $2,000 per child to $3,000. Now, I hope that the guy expands on this, whoever wrote this, but from what I understand, instead of giving like a one-time payment for your children, you're getting a tax credit. That's fully refundable. So as soon as you say, like, I am claiming this child, you get a tax credit for them as long as they're under 18 years old. So that's a lot of money if you have like 2, 3, 4 kids. $3,000 per child. So if you got 3 kids, you get $9,000 like that. If you're claiming all 3 kids, I don't know if you have a husband or if the baby's father like claims whatever, but it's a lot. It's a lot of money. So other highlights, $160 billion for vaccines and COVID testing programs, $360 billion for state, local, and territorial governments, and $170 billion for school reopening efforts. Zoom out. Notice we haven't written the word companies yet. Much of the aid in the bill is directed towards low and middle income families rather than businesses. The Washington Post calls it one of the most generous expansions of aids to the poor in recent history. Economists at Columbia University's Center on Poverty and Social Policy calculate this bill will reduce the number of Americans living in poverty by about a third. Dems are psyched, declaring they delivered on their promise to send more stimulus checks to the people. Republicans pointed to improving economic data to argue the bill was too fast, too furious. This isn't a pandemic rescue package. It's a parade of left-wing pet projects that they are ramming through during a pandemic, said Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The bottom line, workers and families will have received $2.2 trillion from all of the coronavirus stimulus measures, according to the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. So, that passed, and if you make under $80,000, you qualify. If you make under $75,000, you qualify for the whole check, which is $1,400. I know I need that check right now because, like I said, I need to finish this house. I got bills to pay. So, And on top of that, it's tax time. So you guys should, if you haven't done your taxes, get on that. And you should get your tax refunds too. So tax refunds mixed with the stimulus bills. I saw a tweet that said, crap, like it was a scared meme or scared emoji or something. They said crab legs after it's tax time and the stimulus bills pass. Crab legs are like horrified, because that's the meme that all people are doing with their stimulus bills. They're not paying bills, they're just buying crab legs. So that was a thing, but I'm excited. And he didn't talk about it in this. I keep saying a woman could have wrote this. Who wrote this article? It doesn't even say. They normally put who wrote it at the bottom or at the top. So I'm sorry to the brew if someone else wrote this. It doesn't say who wrote it. Written by Neil Freeman and Toby Howe today. So Neil and Toby, they didn't put it in here, but there's this other guy on YouTube who I'll plug to you guys as well. I believe I've plugged him before, but I'll do it again. He is the person that I get all of my news from. It says his name is, or their name on YouTube is Clear Value Tax. And it's like for example, this episode is 5 minutes. Normally it's under 10 minutes and he just does a quick rundown on the news. Kind of like how I'm doing today, but I'm making it an episode. He does it in bullet points, 10 minutes, very quickly. I'll probably listen to him right after I watch this and see what else I can find out. But where I was going with that, or going with this, is he said that there's already been talks or plans for either a fourth stimulus check and deal or recurring payments. So I'll keep you guys updated on more of that. You can also go to the source that I'm going to later, Clear Value Tax. Shout out to them. If they ever see this, shout out to them. Because they give me a lot. He gives me a lot of help and a lot of breakdown on the news. So, for example, the video, and he gives a lot of people help. The video came out, it says 19 hours ago that I'm going to watch. It already has 610,000 views. So I rounded up. It's 607, but 610 for an easy number to say. So that's that. And then the not the last thing, but one of the last things I wanted to talk about was Paramount Plus coming out. Now, I thought, because this is also mostly a business show, entrepreneurship, finance, real estate, I thought that it would be important for me to talk about Paramount Plus coming out, because this, I don't even know which number this is, but this marks one of another company coming out with their own Plus. So far we have Disney Plus, which is a package with Hulu, and like Disney Plus and Hulu, which is both owned by Disney. And I mean, ABC is on there too, because Disney owns ABC. Disney, let me start over. We have Disney Plus with ABC, ABC, National Geographic, all the Marvel stuff. What else do they have? Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Does he own those? I believe Disney does own that. You guys get it. Disney Plus has their own stuff, and then we got Apple Plus, which is Apple and all their original content. Now, obviously, we got the OG. We have Netflix, and now there's HBO Max, and then Starz has their own app, and Showtime has their own app, and now, and NBC has Peacock. So now, and Disney also owns Fox and all their catalog. So the way I do it, when people always ask me how do I know all this stuff, first and foremost, we did a lot of this for my major. My major was business. I think you guys should already know that. But the way that my major was shaped was a lot of case studies and a lot of background. Like, for example, we have to know the CEO of a lot of companies. The CEO of Disney is Bob Iger. Like, we had the CEO of Apple is Tim Cook. We had to know a lot of CEOs and what people are doing with this company and this and that. I used to know the CEO of Starbucks. They changed now. They changed twice. There was a woman, I don't remember her name, but she revamped their whole culture basically. Anyway, where I'm going with that is the way I do it is by channels. So everyone knows, or the way where I live anyway, it's 3, 5, 6, and 10. Those are, if you don't even have any cable, that's the basic channels. Channel 3 is owned by CBS, which is owned by Viacom. And then Channel 5 is Fox, which is owned by Disney. but they don't. Disney wasn't allowed to buy the news and the sports. That was the, what did they, not the SEC, F F F FCC. The FCC said that the one person couldn't own channel 5 and channel 6, like not 2 news stations. So they let them buy their movie catalog and stuff, but they could not own the sports and the news. So that's why if you see Fox Sports, like, that's separate, or if you see Fox News, that's separate. Disney doesn't own them because they already own ABC. So the FCC said they can't own both. So just don't think about the news, what I'm about to talk about, but just think about shows you watch. Like if you want to watch How to Get Away with Murder, that was owned by ABC, or is owned by ABC. Or if you want to watch, I don't know what comes on CBS. Hawaii 5-0 comes on CBS, I think. Maybe that's NBC. I don't know. Anyway, Channel 3 is CBS. That's owned by Viacom. That's now Paramount Plus. Viacom owns Nickelodeon, Paramount. They own some of DreamWorks. A lot of people own DreamWorks. That's a little weird. And they own CBS. So, for example, what they're pitching now is like SpongeBob and anything that is like Nickelodeon, like Avatar. I saw them pitching like Rugrats, things like that, because that's their main, not brand, but that's their main brand. So now there's a Channel 3 that has, Channel 3 has their own plus. Channel 5 is Fox. They don't have one. They don't need one because Disney owns it. They have Disney Plus. The Simpsons, Family Guy, all that is on Hulu. So Hulu is kind of like the Fox Plus. And Fox Plus and ABC Plus. And then if you want to watch a Disney show or anything like that, it's on Disney Plus. Or if you want to watch a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie or Indiana Jones or any of the Fox movies, anything like that. So Channel 5 and Channel 6, they got Disney Plus. Channel 10, NBC Universal. People don't know that all of these companies like are owned by each other or whatever. There's NBC is Channel 10, which has Peacock, which is owned by Universal. So Universal Studios, they have Harry Potter, they have they own the Hulk, they own, I believe Universal is the one that owns the Fast and Furious. But even higher than that, Comcast is the one that owns NBC Universal. So they have their own plus. And like I said, we have Apple Plus, and we have Stars, we have HBO. Well, so why am I saying all this stuff? Like, why am I just rambling about TV shows? It's deeper than that. It's about businesses. It's about businesses adapting to what's going on in society. We've all been hearing for the last, I think it's been like 10 years. I've been out of high school I started, this one class I started in 2011 when I was a freshman. My professor, I think his name was Safko, my teacher back then, he said, like, in the next 10 years, there won't be cable. And he was kind of right. I mean, there's still very much cable, but our generation, my generation, we don't really, no one I know owns cable. Like, if you live with your parent, they do, but all the people when my friend just moved out to his apartment, he doesn't have cable. I don't have cable in here. A lot of people I know, when I had my first apartment 3 years ago almost now. This is 2021, so 3 years ago now. In next month it'll be 3 years. Wow, that's amazing. We didn't have cable. We just said pay for Wi-Fi and we could find anything we want to watch online. So all these pluses and things like that are adapting to that. They hear the noise too. They see their sales declining with cable. So now we're about to have cable with extra steps. If you want to watch Power on Stars, you need to have the Stars app. If you want to watch, what's a Showtime show? I think Ballers is on Showtime. If you want to watch a Showtime show like Ballers, you gotta have the Showtime app. If you want to watch Game of Thrones, I know that's not a show. Or Euphoria is a recent show right now. If you want to watch Euphoria, you gotta have HBO Max. HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, which is owned by AT&T. AT&T also owns. There's probably going to be, if I had to guess on HBO Max, there's probably Cartoon Network shows on there. And if not on there specifically, then AT&T might make there might be a Warner Brothers Plus coming out soon. Warner Brothers owns Cartoon Network and owns lots of different movies and stuff, which is ultimately owned by AT&T. So AT&T also owns Time Warner Cable and DirecTV. So they're just adapting, and I think it's not cruel. That's not the word I want to use. It's disheartening to know, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's literally going to cost the same amount as cable. If you say I'm not paying for cable anymore, and you're used to paying for those types of things, when I say types of things, premium channels and things like that, if you say I'm not paying for cable anymore, then you're still going to be left and stuck with, okay, you pay what, $14.99 for Netflix, and then you go, well, I like Disney Plus and stuff. Oh, I'm gonna get the package with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. That's another $15.99. And then you're like, well, I like Power, so I'm gonna buy the Stars app for another $5.99. I like Euphoria on HBO, so I'm gonna buy that for another $5.99. And you just keep going and keep going. By the time you know, you have Paramount Plus and Apple Plus and Disney Plus and Netflix and this like you're gonna be paying the same $80, $90. Plus you'll be paying for your Wi-Fi, which is another, let's say, $60. So just because you have all these pluses and all this other stuff, plus the Wi-Fi, you're paying for the same thing as cable. It's cable with extra steps. It's literally cable with extra steps. So, like I said, it is cool to see how businesses adapt very quickly, but it's disheartening to know, like, there's not really going to be much innovation behind it. When my teacher 10 years ago told me there's not going to be cable, I was like, dang, so is there going to be, are we going to be on some type of virtual reality headsets watching stuff? Or are we going to, like, how are we going to watch things? And he didn't mention that it was just going to be cable with extra steps. He forgot to leave that part out. But I don't think anyone could have saw this coming. After Netflix took over the entire, basically, streaming industry, they had to do something. And Disney, I think Disney was the first one to really, well, Hulu was competing with Netflix, but Disney have already owned parts of Hulu. For those of you that don't know, I was just explaining this to someone the other day. Hulu, in the beginning, Hulu was owned 50% by themselves, like the people who created it, and then another, I believe it was 10% by NBC, which made 60, 10% by someone else. I can't remember what company it was, and then another 30 by Disney. So Disney bought out that other 10% company. I don't remember who it was. So then it was 50% owned by Hulu, 40% by Disney, and then 10% by Comcast / NBC. Because NBC owns NBC Universal, like I just explained earlier. NBC Universal is owned by Comcast. So if you look at who owns it, it would say Comcast owns it, but just know that's NBC Universal. So basically, that was the other company. Fox was. So let me go back. It was 50% was owned by Hulu, 10% was owned by Fox, 10% was owned by NBC, 30% was owned by Disney. Disney bought Fox, and like I explained to you earlier, they got everything but the news and the sports. So that also included their 10% stake in Hulu. So when they got that turned Disney to 40%. And they asked NBC, hey, do you mind, like, do you want to sell your 10% to us? We'll give you this much. Like, it was a lot of money. They said, no, like, screw you. We're not going to sell it to you. You're just trying to own everything. Then Disney talked to the Hulu people. They said, well, we'll give you guys a huge bag. What if you just sell us your 50% then? They said, we'll do that. So then Disney owned 90% of Hulu and NBC owned 10. And they said, well, now you guys can't make any decisions anyway, so you might as well sell. But we're actually going to sell it to you less than what we would have before, because we don't have any incentive to give you guys a lot of money now. We would have given you more, but you didn't take it. So now take this, like, chump change. So NBC went out sad, but they had to do what they had to do. So now Disney owns 100% of Hulu, and I went on that little rant to say Disney was really the first one to see where TV was going, which is why they bought Hulu as soon as they did. And after they bought Hulu is when they said, all right, this is when we have to, they had that conference to talk about Disney Plus. They said, like, this is the future. After they did Disney Plus, then Apple Plus was announced and all these other ones. So then there was Peacock and NBC Plus and CBS coming out with their own thing and blah, 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 blah. Then HBO Max. And so it's, I know I just ranted on that and rambled on that for a while, but just know that Paramount Plus is bigger than we think it is. Not themselves, but the fact that it's being done. It's not overseeing the rest of these companies do this. Even smaller ones have been doing it. I think BET has their own. BET has one. And I don't mean to disrespect BET. It's smaller than Disney. Disney went and bought Fox for $75 billion. Didn't blink. But BET, I don't even know if that's how much. Like, how much is BET worth? No, this is no disrespect to BET. How much is BET worth? Doesn't really say. CBS owns BET. Viacom owns BET. So BET, I mean, themselves, I don't know what they themselves are worth, but they are owned by, there's someone above them. You know, it always goes like that. There's always somebody above somebody. You have to go to who is all the way in charge. So Viacom, I don't know how they pronounce it. Basically, Viacom, they own Paramount, they own BET, they own CBS, all that stuff. So, from what I can see, in 2001, it was worth about $3 billion. Not about, it was. Viacom acquired BET in 2001 for a reported $3 billion. So, I don't know what it would be worth now if someone wanted to buy it from them, but in 2001 it was worth $3 billion. And on a positive side, before I wrap up the show, companies can transition their entire like net worth or what they are worth overnight. I'll tell you how much. I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna surprise you guys. So, Disney acquired Marvel in 2009 for $4 billion. I don't know what it's worth today, but it's very easily worth more than $4 billion. Each of their movies eclipses $1 billion. So, I said that to show in 2001, if BET was acquired for $3 billion, 20 years later, it could be worth a lot more. In 2009, Marvel was worth $4 billion. It could probably sell for over 30 plus today. Just Marvel. So in 11 years, they made their revenue 6x. That was on 11. In 20 years, BET could have done that 12x. I don't think they did, but they could have. So, I wonder if I could figure out what it's worth now. As of 2019, Disney has made more than $18 billion just from Marvel films. That's from the films. That doesn't include the action figures, any sales like that, the blankets, when kids have a blanket, or the book bag, nothing. Doesn't include all that stuff. So just $18 billion just on the films. And as far as the company is concerned, let me say it like this. I hope everyone knows we're going to get Marvel movies for at least the next 20 years. At least. Because as far as a company, 11 years, like that's kind of like a baby. In 11 years, they made $18 billion just on film. They're going to, they got another 20 left in them. Kevin Feige is going to be 80 by the time he stops making Disney movies. But I just went on a rant about movies and stuff. You guys know how I get about all that type of stuff. So I just went and ranted to say it's going to be bigger than what we can imagine or what we think. Because over the next 2 years, all the companies are about to have their own, each individual one. And I think over the next 7 years, 7 to 10 years, when I'll say 11, 7 to 11 years, by the time my generation's 35, there won't be cable boxes. There won't be a need for it. People don't do cable anymore. There will be, maybe I'm underestimating like the generation above mine when my mom is 55 or something. They can still operate at a high level, so they will have cable boxes. So I don't think cable boxes will go completely away, but I think they're going to scale down. There's not going to be a huge push for them. Like that's not going to be Comcast or AT&T's or Verizon's. I wonder if Verizon owns any TV stuff. I'm going to do some research into that, but that's not going to be their push anymore. Does Verizon own any TV stuff? I don't even know how to Google that. Does Verizon own any media companies? Verizon Media is a division of Verizon Communications. I know Verizon. It says Verizon owns AOL and Yahoo. I already knew that. Verizon subsidiaries. I'm going to do this. Jesus, Verizon makes that much money? And revenue, it doesn't say what year, but they made $132 billion in revenue. Does Verizon make that much money? From what I can see, Verizon doesn't own any media companies. Verizon Fios, yada yada. You heard it here first. Expect Verizon to get into the media game too. Come on, son. That means it's time to go if the sun is trying to get in my face. But you guys heard it here first. Expect Verizon to get into the media game. I heard that that would actually be I don't know if that would be a good buy, but I would love to see it. They're saying that AT&T might be selling Warner Brothers. That's been reported for the last year and a half. So if AT&T decides to sell Warner Brothers, that means they're selling DC Comics, which goes with Superman and Batman and all that. And they're selling the rights to a lot of stuff. And everyone's been discussed, not everyone, it's been discussed online who would buy them. And I said Steven Spielberg owns a company and he should buy them. I don't know. I don't think he'd be able to afford them. No shade to him. They're not going to just sell Warner Brothers for nothing. Warner Brothers comes with, I believe, Looney Tunes, and Warner Brothers has a lot of stuff. So it would come with a lot. It might come with Cartoon Network. Warner Brothers owns Cartoon Network, so it would probably come with a whole channel. So if they sell, I said that Steven Spielberg should buy them. I don't think that for competition, Disney should not buy them. I actually would like for Disney to buy them, but for competition purposes, Disney should not buy them. Someone said NBC Universal should buy them, which would be Comcast. Now I actually think Verizon should buy them. And people would say, well, they've never owned any shows or media companies before. My answer to that would be exactly. Exactly. I think that they would do well because they've never done it before. They give a new look to it. And then the second person that I was saying should buy it might be Apple. Apple has Apple Plus now, and they're trying to become a media company. They're trying to create original stuff, original content, and they have the cash. I think Apple should buy them. FCC might not allow them to buy them. You can't buy too far out of your range. But I mean, they let Jeff Bezos buy. They let Amazon buy Whole Foods. So They should let them buy that. But I'm going to end it there. I'm just rambling now. You got to get to see the inside of my head. That's more so for Free Think Fridays. So, I'm out of here. There's, I don't think there's, I guess I'll open it for any questions. And if there's no questions, then I'm out of here. All right, if there's no questions, then I'm out of here. Let's go attack Monday. I got a lot done this weekend. I hope you guys did too. Let's go do it. I'll see you guys tomorrow here at 7:30 for episode 40. We made it to episode 40. I wonder how I would do that to the camera. No, this way? I don't know. This way. 40. Let's be out of here. I will see you guys on tomorrow. I was going to say on the other side, but whatever. I'll see you guys here tomorrow, 7:30 to 8:30 on the Duron Morning Show. Peace.